Hi everyone, I'm back to read chapter 6 of Sam Wu is Not Afraid of Spiders by Katie and Kevin Tsang. It's so lovely to hear from so many of you and know that you're enjoying the story, so thank you and I hope you keep listening. Now chapter 6 is called Emergency Meeting. After school, we ambushed our parents in the pickup spot by the parking lot and asked if everyone could come over to my house. Usually my mum likes to arrange these things in advance, but it was an emergency. I told her as much. "Mum," I said, "it's an emergency." "What kind of emergency?" she said, sceptically, holding on to Lucy with one hand. "Is it anything I should know about, or any of the other parents?" "No, nothing like that," I said quickly. "It's a kid emergency. You wouldn't understand." My mum sighed and looked at Bernard's dad and Zoe's mum. "If it's all right with Bernard and Zoe's parents," she said, "then it's fine with me. You can all stay for dinner." We cheered. Then I remembered Regina. "Mum, there's another friend we wanted to invite as well. Could you ask Regina's parents if she can come over too?" I pointed at where Regina was standing with her parents and Ralph. "Sam, you know if we invite Regina, we have to invite her brother Ralph too," said my mum. My mum is a big believer in being fair and welcoming. I sighed. There was going to be no getting out of it. No matter how much I didn't want to spend any more time with Ralph than I absolutely had to, part of me wondered if maybe, just maybe, he'd be nicer outside of school, like he had been when we'd gone camping. But I doubted it. Like Spaceman Jack says, an alien leopard doesn't usually change its spots. It turned out Ralph and Regina had a piano lesson, so they weren't able to come over anyway. Ralph couldn't believe I'd invited him and Regina to my house. "Who would want to go to Sam Woozer's house?" he sneered under his breath when our parents couldn't hear us. "You weren't really invited anyway," I muttered. "It was because my mum made me." "Even if I was, I wouldn't have wanted to come," Ralph shot back. "Well, I wouldn't have wanted you to come," I said. "Well, even if you had wanted me to come, I wouldn't have wanted to come. The only reason I hung out with you guys while we were camping is because I had no other options." We glared at each other. Ralph was still the worst. "Have fun at your house with your zombie werewolf," I muttered. Regina had told us that she and Ralph were convinced there was a zombie werewolf trapped in their basement. She wanted me, Bernard and Zoe to come over to investigate. But so far, it hadn't happened. I wasn't sure if I was ready to face a zombie werewolf, if I was being totally honest. The mention of the zombie werewolf worked on Ralph. He went pale and then stormed off after his parents and Regina. "Come on, Sam," my mum called from her car. I ran after her and hopped in the car with Zoe, Bernard and Lucy. The first thing we did when we got back to my house was stock up on snacks. Everyone knows sustenance is the secret to having successful planning sessions. I grabbed some jelly beans, string cheese, oranges and crackers, and we went outside to plot. My mum gave us a blanket to spread out on the grass. "For your picnic," she said. "It's not a picnic," I said. "It's a very important, top-secret planning session." "OK, Sam," said my mum with a smile. "Would you like some juice with your important, top-secret planning session?" "Yes, please, Mrs. Wu," said Zoe. I turned to my friends. "OK," I said seriously. "Let's go over what we know. Bernard, can you write all of this down?" Bernard reached into his backpack and pulled out a notebook and pen. "On it," he said. "We know that Tulip went missing some time after lunch today," I said. "Most likely in the science lab," added Zoe. We paused, because that was really all we knew. "We also know that Mr. Dougal probably won't be able to find her," I said. "I mean, did you see his classroom?" Zoe and Bernard nodded solemnly. and we know that we are probably the school's only hope of finding the extremely dangerous, potentially deadly giant spider. Bernard scrunched his face up in disagreement. I don't think Tulip is a deadly spider, he said. From everything I've read about spiders, and it's a lot, tarantulas aren't deadly to humans. I mean, if we were mice or birds, we would be in trouble. I sighed. OK, fine. We're the school's only hope of finding the extremely dangerous and very aggressive giant spider. Better, said Bernard, scribbling furiously on a pad of paper. Now what? Said Zoe, crunching on a cracker. I said, looking up at the sky, hoping that inspiration would strike. Captain Jane on Space Blasters says you have to be prepared for inspiration to strike at any moment. I was hoping it would choose this moment when I really needed it to strike. Just then, something struck me right in my side and knocked me over to the picnic blanket, sending jelly beans scattering everywhere. Oof! I said as two sticky hands grabbed my face. What's the emergency? Lucy shouted. Get off me, I grumbled, sitting up and pushing my little sister off. And go back inside. We're having a very important meeting. I heard you in the car park, said Lucy, bouncing excitedly, talking about a secret emergency meeting you were going to have. I wanted to come straight out, but I had to have my snack first. She looked around at our now scattered food. If I'd known you had snacks out here, I would have come right away. It's top secret, Lucy, I said. We can't tell you. Sorry. Lucy stamped her foot. But I'm the best at top secret emergencies. You know that. I opened my mouth to argue, but then Zoe spoke up. She's got a point, Sam, she said. Lucy has come in pretty handy before. Lucy beamed. Yeah, she said, and Zoe even made me my own official ghost hunter certificate. Remember? It was true. She had. This is different, Lucy, I said. It's the most dangerous mission we've ever attempted. You're my little sister. I have to protect you. It's my job. Can you at least tell me what it is? Said Lucy. Please? I have to consult my crew, I said, looking over at Zoe and Bernard. It can't hurt, said Zoe. Bernard nodded in agreement. OK, Lucy, I said, lowering my voice, but you have to pinky swear not to tell anyone, OK? It's top secret. We don't want anyone messing up our mission. Lucy held out her little finger. I grabbed it with my own, sealing our pinky promise. I don't want to scare you, I said, but there's a giant spider on the loose at school. Lucy looked at me expectantly. And it's radioactive? She said. I shook my head. No. And it's a flying spider? She went on. No, I said. A people-eating spider? She said. Not exactly, I admitted. So you're saying just a regular spider is on the loose, she said. I wouldn't call it a normal spider, Bernard clarified. It's a Goliath bird-eating tarantula, the biggest spider in the world. But it's still just a spider, right? Right, I said, unsure why she wasn't more scared. I knew Lucy was brave, but surely this had to scare her at least a little bit. But a huge one! I held out my hands to show her the size, bigger than your head. Lucy's eyes got huge, finally giving me the response I was expecting. Awesome, she breathed. Zoe, Bernard and I all looked at each other. Lucy, said Zoe, do you like spiders? Lucy shook her head back and forth rapidly, her pigtails whipping in the air. I don't like spiders, she said. I love spiders. I'm the spider queen. and she did a twirl. "What?" we all said. Then I sighed. "Lucy, this isn't a game. This is serious. There really is a giant spider on the loose at school." "I know that," she said, "and I'm being serious too." Then she leaned towards us and whispered, "Do you want me to show you my spider subjects?" "Your what?" "I told you," she said, like it was the most obvious thing in the world. "I'm the spider queen. So of course I need spider subjects. Come on, follow me. But don't let anyone see where we're going." She skipped away to the bushes in the back of our garden. "Come on," she said in a loud whisper. Then she got down on her hands and knees and crawled into the bushes. A second later, her head popped back out. "Are you all coming or what?" "Does she think this is a game?" said Bernard. "Only one way to find out," I said. We went to the edge of the garden and crawled into the bushes after Lucy. The end of a chapter. And next chapter, 7, is called Spider Queen. I wonder who's going to be in that chapter.